I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Directors for the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District, regularly scheduled meeting for Thursday, March 25th. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'll begin with Director Gould.
Here.
Orzali.
Here.
Wood.
Here.
Sheets.
I saw she was long.
Yeah, I see you unmuted, but I didn't hear you. Nope, still can't hear you. I think we had this problem last time. Maybe sign back out and then back in. At the end of roll call, I'll come back to you. Jones.
Jones is here.
White.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Sailors.
Here.
And we will give Director Sheets one more minute before I turn it over to President Kelly.
I'm here, by the way.
Yes.
Director Sheets, since you're back, can you say something to see if we can hear you? Oh, still can't hear. Director Sheets, the last time this happened, I believe you had other Zoom meetings. It may have been in the background that prevented your mic from picking up the new meeting. If you can try to close all the previous Zoom apps, that might help. Director Sheets, could you try unmuting again? We haven't been able to hear you. Oh, still not working.
No.
Mm. And I see her microphone being muted and then being unmuted.
Looks like she's trying to get in on her phone. So.
Oh, it looks, she might be joining as an attendee on another platform.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Is Director Orzali available to go help her?
Yes, I'm on my way.
I think that'd be the best option that we're
What are you
faced
trying
with.
to?
I'm just thinking your IT expertise could really come in handy right now.
Yeah.
Oh, good one, Grant. I was thinking more along Scotch whiskey preferences.
Oh my God.
Big echo.
The zingers
Never
are coming
slammed
first. Cool.
Never slammed a door that hard, Grant.
I mean, if we can see her, can't we consider her present and move on?
Yeah,
Are you-
I'm present.
Oh, there she is.
Hoping you're fluent in American Sign Language.
I'm here.
All right, Director Sheets, you're good?
Yes.
All right, President Kelly, turning it over to you. President Kelly, now I see that you're muted.
My apologies.
No problem.
We'll go over the Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Monday, March 29 at 6 p.m. and Wednesday, March 31 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14 webcast at www.sacmetrocabletv.tv. The public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
We do not have any speakers. However, before we take speakers tonight, President Kelly, would you like to do the
Okay.
pledge to the flag?
Oh, that would be wonderful. If I can just speed up. All right. Director Orzali,
Yes, sir.
please lead us in the pledge this evening.
Absolutely. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States of
America
America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Orzali. All right, then. Now that we have said the flag and saw that the flag was in its proper place, could we please see if there are any speakers that wish to speak?
Yes, Art, can you unmute all of our attendees and give them a chance to speak, please, if
No
they so
problem.
wish?
Doing so now. Come on a second. Hello, attendees. You now have the ability to unmute yourself if there's anything you'd like to present at this time. No response.
No speakers. Okay. As you all know, Metro Fire lost part of the family this week, and we had a line of death duty with Kyle Rutherford. Chief, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, President Kelly. Tonight, for a moment of silence, we'd like to pause to remember Engineer Kyle Rutherford. Kyle passed away early on Saturday morning. Engineer Rutherford was hired as a firefighter paramedic by Metro Fire on March 19th, 2015. He was promoted to engineer on April 30th, 2018. He was 38 years old and survived by his wife, Sheena, daughters Lillian and Leanna, and sons James and Grady. He also leaves behind his father, Captain Ed Rutherford. He is a retired captain from the Roseville Fire Department, his mother, Laurel, and his sister, Sheena. Most recently, he was assigned as an engineer at Engine 42 in North Highlands. Those that worked close with Kyle described him as an excellent engineer and a firefighter who did his duty. Engineers Kyle Rutherford's last alarm will be Saturday, March 20th, 2011. And now tonight, if we could all take a moment of silence, if everybody could please stand for that moment. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on with the agenda. Fellow members, what is your pleasure with the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, I'll move the consent.
I'll second it.
We have a first by Director Wood and a second by Director Clark.
That's
Madam,
correct.
any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Director Gould,
Aye.
Barzali,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Sheets,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
White,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Sailors,
Aye.
and Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I would like to thank the policy committee for their thorough work on item 3, the family and medical leave policy. Moving on to action items. We have the fiscal year 2020 Community Power Resiliency Allocation to Special Districts Grant Award. Ms. Castleberry.
Yes, it is a mouthful. Thank you. Good evening, directors. We're happy tonight to bring this grant acceptance to you. In October of last year, we applied for a $300,000 grant award under the fiscal year 20 Community Power Resiliency Allocation to Special Districts program offered through the California Office of Emergency Services. We were notified on March 12th of this grant award. We'll be using the funds to outfit some of our stations with emergency backup power, focusing on fixed natural gas generator. So with that, we propose that the board approve the acceptance of this grant and also the budget amendment for the mid-year budget to add these funds to the budget. I can take any questions if you have any. Otherwise, I would request your approval on these resolutions.
Madam Clerk, before we follow through with this, do we need 2 separate motions or is one motion cover it?
One motion should cover both resolutions.
Okay, then. Fellow members of the board, what is your pleasure?
I will move it.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second on item number 4, the purchasing and, or excuse me, item 1, the Community Power Resiliency Allocation Grant. Any questions on the grant?
Just a
Seeing
comment,
none, Madam-
well done to our staff. Thank you, Mr. President.
Very good. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Absolutely. Director Gould,
Aye.
Barzali,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Sheets,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
White,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Sailors,
Aye.
and Kelly.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Then moving on to the president's report. Take care of this business before closed session. Yes.
Yes, I believe that would be appropriate. John Lava will be joining
Okay.
us in closed session this evening. That is our only attorney who will be with us.
Okay.
Director Woods.
Under the president's report, I have nothing to add. Fire chief's report.
Good evening, President Kelly and directors. For the fire chief's report, as you can imagine, most of this week has been focused on really the Kyle and his family and the support mechanisms that have been put into place. Chief Mitchell is going to give you just a little bit of an overview of what has been happening on that side of it as we move forward. As far as some of the other activities across the district, we are doing a single role paramedic recruitment and interviews. We're happening across the hall here. A new hire is Kendra Clark, was hired as an office technician in CRRD. On the March 15th, myself, Chief Mitchell, and Chief Adam House did a review of a fire that happened 20 years ago in Phoenix, in which we lost a firefighter. And we went through kind of on that anniversary of the event and then went through the lessons learned from that event and then how they were applied today. We had 100 opportunities for Zoom and we were able to max that out. And so we've become accustomed to this new platform, and we're going to have to expand our capabilities as we move forward. On the 17th of March, we had our county 2x2. Director Jones, Wood, and Director White were there. I'll let them talk more about it. Some of the agenda items were community risk reduction, fireworks, some response stats, and regional diversity. And you guys can talk more on that. On the 18th, we did our preliminary budget kickoff. It seems like we had just finished mid-year, and we go right back into the next one for being able to move forward from there. We earlier today worked across the county on what is called SHISH-GAP for approval of a number of grants. We had about $1.6 million that is shared between us, the law enforcement in the region, and the county. And I sit on that board. We're able to do those, and we'll have more grants coming our way here soon. On Friday, we have a groundbreaking at Station 68. Due to the location, due to COVID, President Kelly and President Wood will represent the board. It'll be a very small group that will go out and start that. And what we look forward to is, once the station is completed, a large open house at that time out there. And probably two of the last big things, and I have them in front of me so you guys can see them here. The first one is our ALS agreement has been executed by the county on both sides. So we have all now moved forward on our side. It will now move forward to the state, and we will see how the next steps move forward. But also on the sheet, and it's very important to me here, is that county has acknowledged in writing our 201 rights to the fire agencies in the region right here. So again, if you all remember, that was last August, and the work that has gone into really about 6 pieces of paper in front of me is absolutely incredible. And then the ability for the acknowledgement of the 201 rights really is something that the district has been in kind of an argument with other folks and stuff. And so it's just really big for us to be able to have that in writing and documented for moving forward. That ends my portion of the report right now. I'll turn it over to Chief Mitchell for the operations part.
Thanks, Chief Harms. Good evening, President Kelly, directors. Adam Mitchell, Deputy Chief of Operations. A few items tonight. First off, we'll start with training. We have our third and final presentation of our new TED Talk formatted professional development program that's going to happen tomorrow. It's truck savvy, structure fire operations, and then truck coordination. As we've talked about before, the feedback from the members that get to attend those has been overwhelmingly positive. They enjoy the format and the ability to interact and answer questions or ask questions and get them answered. So we're looking at, like Chief Harms mentioned, how to from here. So we'll continue looking at opportunities there. On the COVID front, just very quick update. We just have one person off awaiting a second negative test result. No increase in numbers. I will say thank you to Battalion Chief Joe Furica and Assistant Chief Charlie Jenkins. This past Monday was our last COVID Emergency Operations Group regional conference call that we've hosted over the last year. Really, the intent of that is to maintain our communications and collaborations with our partners to a very successful level. Thanks to those two for hosting that for the region. It really proved to be valuable throughout our attempts at mitigating the COVID pandemic. Statistics, we've had 3,753 total calls since our last board meeting, which is the second meeting in a row where we've seen another slight increase. So our units out in the field are continuing to get busier. Busiest engine company remains with Engine 53, and our busiest medic remains with Medic 224. Finally, I'll finish up with just some overview, as Chief Harms alluded to, with Engineer Kyle Rutherford's memorial. Local 522 and management have established a unified command and incident management team structure almost immediately effective after the Saturday where this tragic event happened. We've established the objectives of the team to primarily 3 things. One is the family support mechanism that we have in place. Second is to support our members. And then the third is to assist with planning the memorial services. Today's operations included moving Kyle from the Placer County Sheriff's Office, Coroner's Office, up to the mortuary in Grass Valley, Nevada City area where his family had selected. It was a very successful, professionally done, and honorable event. And the family was there to be with him when he arrived. So that's a very positive thing. We are constantly in close contact with the Rutherford family. We have a member that's assigned with them on a daily basis. And I know Captain McGoldrick is heavily involved in that as well. That has been a very good thing for us to be able to make sure that we're meeting the family's needs, and that we're not overwhelming them with multiple people reaching out. And they've really greatly appreciated the support that we have given them. The feedback has been very positive from them as they're going through this time of mourning. So, and then I will say I'm very proud of our membership in supporting the family. The meal train has been set up. I know we've got multiple fundraising opportunities, but one item to note, we have an honor watch in place. We've had uniformed members with Engineer Rutherford from the time of this event, 24 hours a day, all the way through and we will continue to be there all the way through the memorial service. And the family greatly appreciated that. So that's a very big shout out to our members and them stepping up to do that. And I just want to again thank also for everybody internally at Metro Fire that has stepped up to help in a number of different ways, but also our other agencies in the region who've reached out to offer condolences and assistance. It's been greatly appreciated. And we have engaged some help from some of the outside agencies to assist in making sure that we have all the needs covered. And that will continue through the memorial service and beyond. And then finally, for information and communications that our members are asking for, and our others outside of the organization as well, we have established a daily update that everybody receives that is confirmed that it's good to release through the incident commanders, as well as Chief Harms and the family prior to being released. So as details become finalized on different items, we're able to get that out to our folks each and every day. And it's proved to be a very valuable communication tool so that we can get information out quickly. So with that, I will end my report and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief Mitchell. Does anybody have any questions of Chief Mitchell's report? Seeing none, we will proceed. The Firefighters Local 522 report.
Good evening, President Kelly and Board of Directors. I don't want to reiterate what's already been said by Chief Harms and Chief Mitchells, but it's been an all-hands team working on this project. There are some outside agencies I'd be remiss if I didn't thank them publicly. The Roseville Fire Department, specifically Engine 6, the AMR crew that was on scene, the Highway Patrol, Placer County Sheriffs, and especially the Placer County Coroner's Office, who have done nothing but gone out of their way to help us out. That's all I have tonight, unless you have any questions.
Thank you for your report, Mr. McGoldrick. Any questions of Mr. McGoldrick? Thank you again, sir. Moving on to committee and delegate reports. Executive committee, nothing to report out. Communications Center, JPA.
Good evening, directors. Tyler Wagaman, Deputy Chief and Director, the Comm Center Board. The board has not met since our last meeting. We are scheduled to meet again on April 13th, 0900 hours at the Metro Fire Board Chambers. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Deputy Chief Wagaman. California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Chief Harms.
Before I go, Director Gould, did you want to jump in?
Thank you, Chief. I just wanted to thank Mike for all the work that he's leading on the 522 side, and just make sure that he himself is getting some, some help and self-care, because it can be overwhelming, I'm sure.
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chief Harms.
The California Fire Rescue Training JPA has not met. Our next meeting is April 15th. End of report.
Moving on to the Finance and Audit Committee, Director Orzali.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. The Finance and Audit Committee met this evening and reviewed the reserve policies, and we'll be forwarding those policies to the board for further review and modification. That ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Orzali. Moving on to the Policy Committee, Director Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Policy Committee's next meeting will be April 8th, 2021, 5:30 in these chambers. Thank you.
And does the group want to go through board member questions and comments at this time or when we return from closed session? Let's do it now. All right. Director Gould, would you like to begin?
Sure, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Obviously, we're all saddened by the loss of our family member, and I'm just incredibly proud of the work that's been done. So professional and above board. I've had some questions that have been answered in a very timely fashion. I couldn't be any prouder of the group for handling what is a very difficult situation. And I hope that when this is passed, that all of them are able to reflect and take care of themselves and their families as well. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to Mr. Clark.
Yes, sir. I concur with
Or Mr. Clark, excuse me. You're supposed to be at the end. My apologies. Moving on to Mr. Orzali. My apologies.
No problem, Mr. President.
With that, I simply want to say how impressed and how grateful I am for the demonstration of leadership and concern that everyone has shown with regard to this family. It is profoundly heartening to think about the membership and the level of support that Metro Fire provides to all of its family partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orzali. Moving on to Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. President. Director Orzali and Director Gould said it more eloquently than I could. I just want to express my most sincere condolences to the family and deep gratitude for all that are helping support them. Thank you.
Director Sheets.
I too just want to send my deepest condolences to the family, and they will be my thoughts and my prayers. Thank you.
Director Jones.
Thank you, President Kelly. Yes, the Rutherford family has gone through a tremendous tragedy and loss, and our hearts are with them. Our condolences, our thoughts, and I wish them well as they can be in this time of sadness, very much sadness. A big thank you to the Metro team for all the support, as well as all the outside agencies that Mike McGoldrick mentioned. It's in the midst of tragedy, it's a refreshing comment to be able to hear. I'm moving on to some other things because there's some thank yous I do want to get out. A thank you to Fire Marshal Barsdale for participating in one of our community meetings, an emphasis on fireworks and fire safety in the area. And she did a great job. I really appreciate her participation. Congratulations, Chief, on that county EMS agreement. That is huge. Probably that 800-pound gorilla off your shoulders, off everybody's shoulders. So thank you very much for sticking to it and getting that done. I did participate in the county 2x2 where we discussed fireworks and recruitment with a diversity focus, and that has led to some participation with my new participation with a regional diversity committee. Beginning project for me, and we hope to have some success. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Director White.
I too just want to offer my sincere condolences to the Rutherford family and my genuine gratitude and appreciation for everyone who has stepped up to support them during this difficult time. Thank you.
All right, moving on to Director Clark.
Yes, sir. I also would like to convey my condolences to the Rutherford family, and also thank Metro for the amount and the high degree of brotherhood. I mean, I know there's sisterhood too, but in my union and all, we would do the same thing, and that's just displaying brotherhood and solidarity with our member and their families and our families. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Director Clark. Director Sailors.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to express my condolences to the Rutherford family, and with deep appreciation to the whole Metro Fire for the care and the professionalism that they have all shown during this tragedy. And my deepest thanks to all of the other departments within the region that have stepped up to help share this burden. That's all I have tonight. Thank you very much.
Well, Director Sailors, thank you. I don't think that I can say it much better than anybody else. So we will close this meeting and move on to our closed session. Hope to see you all there. We will call the meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District March 25th back to order, regularly called meeting. And at this time, I would ask if Council Lavra would please report out on closed session.
Yes, thank you, Director Kelly. The board met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 to discuss the litigation matters identified in the closed session agenda. The board took no reportable action. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, is there anything else left that you need?
No, that does it for the evening. Thank you,
Okay,
President
then.
Kelly.
Other members of the board, thank you for your attendance this evening.
Mr. Chairman, if I made a moment of silence for Mr. Rutherford, for Engineer Rutherford.
We did that earlier, but we can do it
we
again
did that
if you-
earlier. Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
All right. If you, hey, I'm ready to get up if everybody
No,
else is.
no, I hear you.
All right, then. We will proceed to close the meeting. Everybody enjoy your evening, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, folks.
Well.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Good evening.